If you run a blue-collar business and you still think AI is optional, you're already behind. In this episode, we break down what AI is already doing in the blue-collar world, how it could reshape everything from call handling to financial reporting to customer experience, and why the next wave of winners will be the owners who learn how to architect the business instead of just reacting to change. We get into where AI can create real leverage today, what shops actually should be implementing first, and why understanding the fundamentals of your business matters even more when technology starts moving this fast. This is not a conversation about the distant future. It is about everything that is happening right now, what business owners need to start learning right this second, and how to stay relevant while the industry changes all around you. January 30th, 2026, mark that date on your calendars. That is the date that OpenClaw renamed from Claudebot and became mainstream. It has been 5 weeks since open source agentic software has been available to everybody completely for free. And what has happened in the last 5 weeks has absolutely been mind-blowing. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, OpenClaw allows you to create an agent on your computer that will operate independently of any inputs that you do, taking over tasks. And so the big question is, how is AI going to completely transform the blue collar space, and what are we going to do about it?
Wow. Great question.
That's a good opening.
So good. So you were looking up the date.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot involved with what AI is doing in the entire world right now. It's fascinating to see. Like, I follow the stock market a lot, and I see a lot of different companies really struggling, others doing really well. Like, for example, software companies are really tanking right now because AI is able to do a lot of what.
And I would argue purely based off of the mainstream launch of OpenClaw. Like, if you look at the stock market in the last 5 weeks, it's directly correlated with that.
Yeah, you look at Microsoft, which is a $3 trillion company, or was. They're down, 15% off their highs.
I mean, just a casual $500 billion.
Yeah.
Goodness. $500 billion, like literally that was the most valuable company in the world, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
That's,
I think from my perspective, like how much has changed. Like there was no internet in my life. Like you guys don't even remember this.
I do.
You do.
I do. I remember the pre-internet base. The internet came out when I was like in 4th or 5th grade. And I remember like the first, like the only thing that exists initially was like chat rooms
and modems, that.
That's right.
So when I was little, we had a landline, and we were the cool kids at my house because we had a kids line on the phone. Like everything has changed so much. Yeah. I grew up privileged. We had a kids line at my house. But just the speed at which things have changed in a single lifetime, or like your mother's or your grandmother's, like this has been so revolutionary and it's speeding up so fast. So what is the role that people have to play that would be relevant in light of this technology? Because is it true that if you've got that agent working on your computer without some direction, the information or the processes that it's creating in order to help you may not be very helpful? So there's some direction that's required. So if we call that person an AI pilot or captain or driver, isn't that where the opportunities lie right now?
Yeah, so I would actually, sorry Trent for cutting you off, I would actually make the argument that the most valuable thing right now is people that understand how and what works behind AI, how AI actually works, how to use it the right way. The value isn't in the AI itself or even the software. We had this conversation yesterday. And you look at the actual founder of OpenClaw. Like as soon as it went mainstream, within weeks, he was picked up by OpenAI. Do you know how much he got paid?
$1 billion?
He got a signing bonus for $1 billion.
For one guy.
For his talents.
Guy, because his talents and how he understood how to use the AI and just like the things that go into it. And that's really where the value is. The value isn't what AI can do for you. It's understanding what AI can do for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question, and this applies to you and me. Like, one of the reasons why I've gotten good at financials is because I know the basics and am willing to ask questions.
Right.
So what would be the basic level of understanding that one would need just to play? So if you're not going to be the expert at it, but be able to be in the conversation, what is it that you would have to know about AI?
Hey guys, it's Chris. If you're finding value in what you're hearing, go ahead and like and subscribe. That way people just like you can find this content for free here on YouTube. Now let's dive back in the show. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because I think where this conversation stems from is the fact that like there's so many things that could be done for us right now. We can get these great reports, right? Like we can see the financials or whatnot, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand what works behind the scenes or how to, like, you can't just ask AI to solve everything for you. Right. And especially if you're eliminating accountability, that's one of the things that I struggle with the most in our modern world right now with blue collar space is that most people have all these reports and dashboards and everything being created automatically, yet there is no accountability to those numbers. Nobody's looking at them. Nobody's inputting them. Right. It's just automatically being pulled from, say, like Service Titan over to this. Nobody looks at the dashboard. So it's like, oh, I don't even know what I own. And so that's where I think in business, it's like, how do we balance the difference between like somebody actually have to manually input something into just a basic spreadsheet, sheet of paper, say I did this much today versus it automatically being reported based off of action.
There's two things that are really interesting. We talked last night, Ellen and I, about the law of accelerating returns. We grew up playing Pac-Man. Our kids grew up playing video games. Our grandkids play virtual reality. And then in the future, it's not going to stop, right? Once it's accelerated, it take a long time to make a bicycle. And from bicycle to plane is a very short period of time, right? So it's not going to stop. That's point number one. Point number two is the information there's no shortage of information, but there is shortage of how do you use and manipulate that information for your betterment. So even though we're talking about AI almost every day, the majority of people are not even using AI at all. And the people that pay for any AI subscription is very, very small. So we're in a minority even talking about it. And as the captains of the new world of AI, we need to figure out how to use it for our betterment so that we can provide jobs, provide opportunities, and grow businesses.
So back to your question, you said, what are the like essentials that we need to know AI? I would ask, I want to hear your answer. I've got a ton of answers around that, but I would love to hear.
I'm legit asking because I think too, like there's real information and there's erroneous information. And so unless we're assessing and discerning the information that we're getting and maybe checking it maybe manually, like is there still a manual moment?
Yeah, so I want to chime in here. There's a few things with AI. AI is here to be a really good assistant for all of us, but we cannot forget, and frankly we're going to learn better and better, it's about people. If we don't figure out how to have relationships with people, how to make sure that our customers are happy, our employees are happy, we're going to lose no matter what. Right.
But you even need the employees. Like in McDonald's, you go there's some McDonald's that you don't even need to talk to anybody. They've already developed a good product. You don't need an employee. I could Apple Pay.
It's 3D
I could go in
printing the burger.
Well, whatever is, maybe there's one guy in the back, but you never see him. So like, do you need employees if the product is good? I think people are going to come.
We currently provide a service, which is different from a product, as we know.
Yeah.
But we are in the home services space. We're going to need employees and technicians for a long time to come, I believe. Yeah. Now, we could talk about Optimus,
it's not
but that's probably a ways off. Still.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But in your mind, Chris,
years.
it's not so far off.
I think we're about 10 years away, maybe 15.
From Optimus going up into an attic and pulling wire through flex.
Optimus doing everything.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. But for right now, like
maybe.
We can't really focus on that right now because in the moment, we've got to identify how do we use AI and leverage AI.
Yeah.
So one, let's make sure we understand what AI is producing. We need to make sure that we are an overseer for the AI analysis that is happening on our financials, on our operations and so forth. Like when we look at, for example, we've used different AI companies for answering phone calls. And the one company that we used has had a booking rate of around 63%, whereas a live CSR is typically booking in the high 80s or low 90s. So what are we doing to make that AI better and more effective, right? Are we helping the AI to figure out how to do more empathetic statements? Are we making sure that we're confirming addresses even at the end of calls and so forth?
I have to say, on this AI business of AI CSRs, I think that it's almost a generational thing.
Agreed.
Because like my dad probably would want to talk to somebody. My dad would say, I'm not talking to a robot, you know. What is he gonna tell me? I'm trying to get a deal, you know. So like he wants to call a person. But my wife, core millennial, she would rather just not talk to anybody. She'd rather go online and book an appointment, or thank God a real person did answer so they don't have to hear the kids crying in the background or whatever.
Well, and I told the story about buying the car,
the Rivian.
on an app. And the only pain point of the entire process of buying my Rivian truck was the one time a human talked to me and Hot Rod and asked Hot Rod for his email address. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. That's that's really a dead end. He didn't pay attention to me. He wrote down Hot Rod's email address, and I thought I'll clean it up later. And it was the one thing I couldn't change. So I spent a lot of time. I'm 66, and I would have rather done it all
online
on the app.
Yeah. So
it's not even just a millennial.
You're right.
Yeah, but I think it's more so with the average person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that humans are not important. I think so. I would rather talk to a person because you feel like you get something, but I don't know, dude. Like,
yeah, here's the thing I think that we're vastly underestimating, though. I think we are 6 months away from literally not communicating with anyone. Like, where you're actually sending your agent off to go and shop for you. From a standpoint of like, I tell my agent, hey, I need a plumber. I'm not reaching out to a plumber. I'm going to have this agent go out, vet out the different plumbers, communicate. So that agent's communicating as me. So I don't really even need the human touch because they're doing it for me.
That's incredible.
And so, yes, I think for people that aren't adopting agentic AI, you guys make valid arguments. But agentic AI is making such a rush right now where it'll for the normal homeowner. We'll have these agents out doing all the basic tasks. And so that's where I'm like.
So thinking about this, because I've got some of my own businesses, and we are trying to make sure that our websites are very capable for AI scraping, for example. So we need to make sure that we have the great Google reviews, the great Yelp reviews even, which I know are very hard to get. But then make sure that our websites have great AI scraping capabilities as well. So we need to make sure that we redesign our websites, because honestly, if that's where we're going, then we need to make sure that we have everything optimized for that.
100%. I mean, you think about just like the advancement of, I don't know if you guys use Alexa in your home. I'm a big Alexa family. You're right. We got them all over the house. Like you'll ask Alexa anything now, and she's starting to make suggestions. Like, hey, do you want me to put this in your shopping cart based off of what you just talked to me about? Right. And so, and then the future of real smart homes, right? I mean, we're seeing it with thermostats and everything else where they're automatically communicating with the installer or whatnot. Like literally there's going to be something that goes off. Your agent's going to say, do you want me to get a plumber out here? I think we should do this. And you're going to say, yup. And they're going to send out, and you better be prepared to have your website scraped and your people to answer the phone.
You're a month out before Alexa starts to say, you know what, change your tone. I don't like the way.
She actually, have you seen that she has changed her tone?
She did change her tone.
Oh
She's telling you to change yours.
Like literally, if you're like, hey, Alexa, what time is it? She'll whisper back to you, it's 3:18.
No.
Wow.
Oh, yes, dude.
Yeah, that's incredible. I have Ring I have Ring, and so we have cameras, all over our house, outside our house, and so forth. Now the Ring doesn't say there's motion in the house. It says there's somebody walking through the basement with a blanket over his or her shoulders.
What?
I've seen that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Why is that happening at your house? In the what? What was it?
Yeah, wait, there are
wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was a crazy example.
I don't know where you're going, but no, that's what it says.
Just an average Saturday.
There was a kidnapper who had a kid
holding a child hanging over her mouth.
with a blanket over his shoulder.
Okay, so what are the relevant ways for humans to interact in a changing workforce? And
So I think it's important to understand right now.
And let me just reinforce what he said too. Like, yay, that the trades won't probably be as affected
It will
right
be affected.
away.
Yeah.
It will ultimately, but right now, it's
but
pretty
when we
sophisticated.
say the trades, we are literally only referring to boots on the ground,
Right. Correct.
turning wrenches.
Yeah.
OpEx is gone.
Everything else.
The office.
Everything
different.
else. Like you will have one-man trades companies that has only technicians doing $50 million a year.
Correct.
There's a fellow
Yeah.
in Washington doing that, Riley Plumbing.
What does he do?
He does plumbing, and the first interaction with the human and the customer is when the tech arrives.
That's interesting.
He's really been cutting edge and someone that
How many people does he have operating behind the scenes?
he has another location. So he did it with a satellite location, but he's a super cool guy. His name is Brooks.
Okay.
And we're paying attention to him, but his close rate with an AI agent at Service Titan, he uses a lot of Service Titan products, so we're excited to see what he's doing. But his closing rate is 80% in the field, 85 or on the phone, 85%
booking,
which is better than 90% of all
people.
shops.
Yeah.
And they never get tired, and they'll work on weekends. Like there's a lot of reasons too. And I think so this brings up another question. So one is like, how do we confirming, yay, tradespeople are going to be really relevant and more valuable in the short term of what's happening. Maybe we'll move beyond that, but that's exciting. How do we stay relevant as that progresses? And let's leave it at that. So like, what are the positions?
Let me talk a couple things about what you just brought up. So
Okay.
one, I'm a huge advocate for high prices, right? Like that's one thing I always preach. You need 60% gross profit margins. You need to be 10% on marketing, 10% on sales. You need to be able to allocate 40% towards the bottom line in OpEx, right? And so if you eliminate OpEx, you eliminate a lot of marketing and you eliminate all of sales, right? So you're able to automate all of that process. All of a sudden, I can start selling products at 25% gross profit, and that is my net profit.
Yes.
Right. Or
right.
maybe you have a 5% OpEx from like all these, open claws and, all the energy and
Probably
tokenization that's
insurance
happening,
still is
insurance
happening,
or whatever else. And so then that's where agentic close rates can be super high because, and I'm not an advocate by selling by price, but in this event, when you can still get a high profit margin, guaranteeing that you're going to be in business a long time and be able to service the customer and be the cheapest, like
that's where we're going.
That's the craziest thing that's available. And so like I think that's the next few years. Which again, I'm not a huge advocate for that. I'm a 60% gross profit guy all day. And so, but going back to like, what do we do as blue collar business owners? Because if we know that it's going to be us and the techs, we have to understand how to set up all of the AI. We have to be the master architects.
So the architects, the champions, the drivers to make sure it's relevant.
And not just visionaries, right? Like visionaries used to be able to dominate. And I'm a classic visionary. And I've been classic like, hey, find somebody that's really talented, somebody and send them out and have them do that thing and hold them accountable to that thing. But like we're in a day and age where you need to understand how to architect the infrastructure and know exactly how it works.
Well, what's really cool though, Chris, is we actually don't need these business owners to know how to do it because next level and others can actually help them do it.
That's right.
And that's what's needed. We need to have really good consultants that are in the industry. We're all in the industry doing consulting work. We need to make sure that we help these business owners if they don't know how to do it. And that's okay if they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But if they don't reach out and get support and resources, they are going to be up a creek. Right now, we look at the S&P 500. Coming back to stocks, right? I know that really well, but we look at the S&P 500, the top 500 companies in the world. Their profit margins are really expanding because of AI, but eventually we will see that margin crush. AI is very deflationary, I believe, which is frankly good for consumers long term, but businesses, if they're not prepared for it, they will also get crushed and go out of business.
Yeah, 100%. There's going to be a lot of consolidation.
Yeah.
You're going to have these companies like this plumbing company that's going to be able to undercut and be more profitable.
Yeah.
Which is wild, right? Like that has never existed before maybe like Ford or, like the assembly line or whatnot that drastically changed the game of human input or whatever it is. But yeah, it's
So another relevant opportunity is getting business owners who just want to survive at a minimum acceptable level of literacy when it comes to AI.
Yeah, people need help. We all need help.
So let me
so much. Who would even the expert be?
let me give you some basics that everybody needs to understand.
Okay. Good. I'm glad we're recording now.
One, you need to understand vibe coding. If you do not understand what vibe coding is,
Note to self.
And hang out.
Define.
Do you guys know what vibe coding is? Okay. Like legit, this
Okay.
is baseline for you to be able to be an architect in this new world. Vibe coding is essentially, you got different apps out there like Lovable, okay? And Lovable essentially allows me through a prompt, right? So we all know what prompting is, right? When I go and I prompt open chat GPT or, all the different things, and I get a response, what vibe coding allows me is to go and code through prompting. Okay. And so, for example, Lovable, I can go and say, hey, I want to build an app, my own software, right? And I literally just tell it what I want. And it writes all the code, develops the app, and produces that dashboard that previously I would have been spending thousands of dollars a year, if not millions, if, on a per user basis, right? Thousands of dollars per user to be able to have access to this. I now can program this in less than 24 hours. Okay, that is available to us today. There's Base 44, there's Lovable, there's a variety of vibe coding platforms out there. So that's step number one. Step number two is you got to figure out how to create agentic AI. Agentic AI is where now I can go and take different things that previously were prompts, right? Now you got Anthropic and you got a variety of different things. Do you guys know co-work with Anthropic?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I actually do know that a little bit, yes.
I'm going to go set myself on the couch. Okay, but let me ask this. Let me interrupt you for a second. At that point, it will go and create these things. Don't we need to create an environment in which the data it's searching has been vetted?
Yes. And so again, once you learn how to vibe code, so we are entering the era where the master architects will thrive, the true artists that know what they want.
I get
right?
this piece. Like that seems to be where.
And so like AI
need.
will not solve things for you unless you know what you want it to solve. And the only way that you get to know how to solve, you got to understand your basic financials. You got to understand how everything works inside the business, how the customer flow is, right? Like if I don't understand exactly what I want my customer experience to look like, AI will only be able to pull so much and give you the recommendation of the blended version of what everybody else is doing.
Right.
But if you're a true artist, a true architect, and you're like, man, I want the customer to receive this package and this message and everything else, and you know exactly what you want, now is your time to shine, because you literally can plug that crap in and it can be produced.
Yeah,
very
and I
quickly.
Want to collect the farm in which I want you to pull the information. I want to curate that farm.
Yes.
So I only want the brightest and the best. So knowing what the agents are going and plucking, like overall, if it went out to the service industry at large, most of it's terrible.
Right.
So we don't want that. We want it to make sure, and we need to figure out how to vet or verify that the information that we're getting is going to be relevant and sound.
So yes, you literally need to be the basic, like the same way an architect works on a building, right? He needs to know exactly all the ins and outs of how a building works. He doesn't need to build it.
Yeah.
Right. But he needs to know what he wants built.
An example of that. So you have sweet cherries. You have a sweet cherry tree. You have many of them, actually.
Yeah.
What,
if
like
you were to
55,000
4,800
last night.
4,800.
Yeah, 4,800. Yes.
Okay.
So if we take a robot to go pick those cherries, does the robot know what the goal is? Maybe the robot thinks to just pick the cherry and smash them.
Right.
Or maybe the robot thinks I only need to pick the ones that I can actually reach.
Right.
We have to give the robot directions onto one, know when to pick the cherries, and then two, to be gentle with the cherries so they're not smashed and so forth. We're going to have to do the same thing in services. We're going to have to make sure that with all of the AI agents that we do, we got to make sure that we help them know exactly what we're looking for and build everything out, whether it be the customer gift package or whatever it may be.
You know, a lot of times when we talk about AI, we talk about like this binary, which is like AI doesn't exist or it's just about to exist, and then we describe utopia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or Skynet.
Or Skynet. Yeah. Or dystopia. Whatever your flavor is. But on the way up is where people are going to become millionaires using this. So let's talk about the on the way up is like right now, if you're a trades company, you could have an AI service like Same Day AI answer your calls for rollover calls, for early morning calls, and for after hours calls, right? Just to get a baseline. You could use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, one of these guys, to ask, hey, what ads are trending right now? What offers are trending right now? Can you build me a teaser page that I could launch on this?
Let me add so much more, because that is a substitution for Google. And what I want you to do is not substitute AI for Google. That is the worst way that
what he described is like, here's easy entry.
Yeah, no.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'll let Chris go on the monologue about this, because I've heard it before, and I agree with him. But it can't just be like it doesn't exist and then it's going to just run on the way
there
up.
Is a
you
way.
Need to start implementing little things.
Go like this.
Yes.
We
talked.
So to your point,
okay.
If you have not replaced Google with AI, that's step one, right? Step one: replace Google with AI. Ask questions. ChatGPT will lead you down a road and ask you additional questions. That's fantastic. That's where most of the AI users are. In fact, there's this really cool graph. I think you made reference to it earlier that we've shared with our executive team. It's like 85% of the world has never even used AI, right? And then there's like 14% of the world has a free chat bot, right? So they got the free version of ChatGPT or whatnot. They've replaced it with Google. They're asking questions. They're doing that stuff. And then it's like 0.8% is paying for some sort of AI subscription, $20 a month, so on and so forth, right? Like this is the kind of natural. And then it's like 0.04% is using agentic AI and actual real LLM models and those type of things. So yes, I think step one, replace Google. Right?
Sure.
Replace Google, start asking questions, use it as a great sounding board, ideation, graphics, those type of things like that. It's a great starting point there.
You can even use Gemini, which is Google's AI.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I believe
Do you own stock in Google? Is that why you said that?
No.
Okay,
I don't actually.
It sounds like
It
you
sounds
defended
like-
it pretty
I'm
hard.
not one of those that's like, don't
You
do
jumped
evil.
into
No, Gemini's cool because for example, if your URL is hosted, like you use Gmail services through your URL, you have a free subscription to that.
Yeah.
And so it's a paid subscription for free. You can automatically plug into like your Google Docs and spreadsheets and those type of things. So that's one thing that's awesome. The next level where I think I went straight to vibe coding.
The next
Scratch
level.
that. We're gonna pull it back a notch. What you need
It's
to
just
be
like
doing-
the uncle that comes to Thanksgiving dinner. He's like, guys, the moon. What do you think of the moon? And you're like, yeah, I don't know about it. You're like, you don't know about the moon? No.
But if you
Well, that's
do
why
not,
we're here. Like, this is the talk.
if you do not have a paid subscription to Anthropic, it is the best thing that you could do.
$20 a month.
Now. Claude AI, $20 a month. I would be paying $200, but pay the $20. That's fine.
You're saying for the more premium
For
subscription.
the more premium
Yeah.
subscription to the same thing. So co-work with Claude right now is such a game
at me like-
changer.
Says, hey Siri, make an appointment to get Anthropic.
Here's the good news: is
Okay.
I'm recording this with my AI device right now.
Okay,
This will
so-
send you all the
and we're
summaries. We're
recording
gonna
That's
be
awesome.
good.
No, but I'm like, I want to write this down. Okay, go.
Okay, so all right, hear me out.
still
Claude co-work. So there's a few different things
Okay.
that you do with it. Use the Chrome extension. Okay, plug it in. Whenever you're working on anything, filling out a form, creating a like anything that a project, you click on the Chrome extension and so I have this thing called Whisper. It's another AI thing. I hit one button, I just talk to it. I say, hey, I need this, and then it writes it all out, but you can type it out. You say, this is what I'm trying to do. You hit send, and then it creates a plan, and it says, do you approve this plan? You say yes. It starts pulling up all the different tabs and doing the work for you. It's literally an employee for you right there that will do agentic work. It does it from beginning to end. So it doesn't just run continuously, but it will finish that project. And if it gets stuck, it'll let you know. It's like, hey, what do you want to do here? Oh, do that. Boom. And then it keeps going and does all your stuff. Like, I'll give you an example. I created some performance pay that I needed to like get everything out of my head and on paper. So I went back and forth with Claude. It had me answer all these different questions. And then I said, okay, I need to create this. It literally had 14 different positions with their policy contracts, a infographic that showed to be able to go and recruit these people, completely customized with the company, everything in 30 minutes.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible.
So I have a question for you. Okay.
Okay.
Let's just back up for a second. This is deep. This is like layers and layers.
Yeah.
Just imagine that you are a $3 to $10 million shop, which is what we all pretty much coach to. And they're like trying to get their first couple of steps into AI. And they're going to watch this podcast and think, all right, I'm going to get 10 different things, which is great. But what are you guys seeing in the market that people could do at least to start the automation process?
Can I plug Service Titan?
Of course.
Yeah.
Their
Okay,
Service
so-
Titan is a sponsor of Next Level Pros.
Yes,
We're partners,
this
and
is
it's
where
wonderful.
I think Service Titan has a really exciting role to play because of the need of those contractors who maybe like, and I'm in this group, I'm not going to be in that 0.04%, and I would sure like someone else to figure it out for me, to have enough basic understanding to suss out if this is garbage. Because like right away I'm thinking, like, you scratch the surface of some of these nice reports I've seen, and there are weird things in there. So again, they're going out to the world at large. So if Service Titan would contain the information and then be able, and there are, I'm sure, lawyers all over Service Titan. I don't know this for sure, but it's a big public company making sure that privacy laws are maintained, and there's some rules of the game to be able to do this for sure. And I know they're aware of them, but if they could curate the information and then coordinate the agentic agents within the software, there's a real advantage there. And I am really excited to see them pursue that. Because the other thing about all these different apps is you have to coordinate the app stack, and that's another job. So we have an app stack, director.
So what
who's going to make sure everything fits together.
what AI is Service Titan launching or is launching that's building, helping trades companies?
Well, they've got some buzzwords, and this has been announced from stage, but Atlas works within Service Titan, and it's going to be seeking out the information from your Service Titan account as well as what they've gleaned from the cumulative whole.
That's awesome.
That could be really helpful and also help us be more selective. Now, there's going to be
Dispatch Pro is another one.
Dispatch Pro is like one part. So the Pro products are there, and there is a way to coordinate them. And then Atlas being the overall engine or agentic agent that's going to coordinate the big mix. But I'm looking to Service Titan like, okay, you've got the data, you know who the brightest and the best are. We've already got the software. And most importantly, I love our founders and I love their values. They know they've got to stay relevant in light of what's happening.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see, now, have some big companies been in that position before as the world drastically changes and failed to make the pivot? Yes. All right.
Blockbuster.
Just the one that came to my mind, right?
Yeah.
And so the opportunity was right there. So it's going to be disruptive for sure. And just because I'm at Service Titan, because I love the founders and their vision, I would bet on them. I want to see what they're going to come up with. And that will be helpful to people who are like, oh man, I know I'm way in over my head, as well as those folks who want to see, let's see what the collective can do if we work together on this project.
Lincoln, what about you? What do you see? What could a shop implement?
I think right off the bat, looking at some of the call agents that are AI focused, you've mentioned Same Day AI. There are others as well.
Yeah.
Same Day is the sponsor for you guys, right?
Yeah.
For Next Level.
Well, they're one of the sponsors.
Yeah.
So Service Titan.
Yeah.
So definitely looking
was
at
good.
some of these call center agents that are AI focused. There's also a lot of financial AI companies coming out as well. I don't know which ones are the best. I wouldn't have a recommendation today, but I'm looking at some of those. So a lot of the accounting work and financial work is going to go away for a human as well. But again, like anything else, you want to have a human overseeing the results. And only a human is going to be able to motivate and convince and help and hold accountability for the humans that are doing the work, right? So that's really important to understand as well. Service Titan is really good with Dispatch Pro and other things like that, which is AI as well. So there's a lot of things already that people can nibble on to get involved in
My
AI.
fear is that people associate the AI stuff with like when you call United Airlines and they're like, press 0, press 1, and you're like, operator, please, God,
Shoot
get
me.
me. Yeah,
But
shoot
now
me.
we're going like, get me the robot. Get back to the robot.
Well, because the people
but that
are worse
wasn't
sometimes.
really AI, was it?
No,
it was
that
just
wasn't
like
AI.
automation.
Yeah.
It's
No,
call
but
trees.
That's cultures.
With voice recognition.
Yes.
Your
There-
call tree
there-
is changing, but is it really? I
There's a
don't know.
lot of customers that do not know they're talking to an AI agent when they call in.
Oh,
Right.
this brings up a little subset question. Do you tell them?
I think it's I think I think yes.
I think yes.
I think yes.
you could have fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm the AI agent, and I work much more efficiently than whatever knucklehead would have
Yeah.
answered the phone.
Hi, this is
Or
Skynet.
something a little-
Comedy. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. I think you could do
Absolutely.
that. Because what we've found listening to the calls at Service Titan, at their call center, is that when people realize that, oh, I'm talking to an agent, the tone changes. You know, we can also get that information with AI, but the trust is broken.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So I think we can have fun with that. But let me ask this question, because I don't know how this works, but when this is what concerns me just with our app stack growing and growing and growing. So how do you coordinate them? Because you'll get a text on your phone from the call taker and then from Google that you got the call, or maybe Angie is also.
Yeah.
So then how do you coordinate all the different apps with each other? That's where we need an architect or an agent, but that's also where I look like, can Service Titan coordinate that for me? Because that looks like a lot of work to make sure that they're talking to each other. Like, how does Same Day AI's data get into the rest of the soup?
Well, Same Day is an integrated partner with Service Titan.
But with
or
Service Titan,
API
but then
partner.
there's going to be more integration.
Yeah.
It's
So there
getting
has
more
to be
complicated.
there has to be some base. You're saying right now.
Yes, but you could maybe create an agent to do that.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
But that's
I
utopia.
could see you smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not utopia. It exists today, but that's fine. Beyond the point. So I going back to your question of like 3 to 10 million, I think instead of like what are the solutions, it's like how should I be looking at it and what's my process. So one, if you're not involved in AI right now, you need to be spending a certain amount of time every single day diving in. It should be your main source of education. You should be spending 30 minutes to 60 minutes as a founder and owner studying AI, on it, consulting with it, doing something with it. I think that's like step number 1. 2, create a budget that you are going to just blow on AI.
I agree with that.
You know, get a $500 to $1,000 a month that you are just going to pick up all the different, you know, I want to have Anthropic, I want to have, you know, OpenAI, I want to have all this different stuff, and then just get familiar with it. Like that is part of the process. Step 3, go and find what are the biggest holes in your business. Okay, like, are we struggling because we're not taking calls after hours? Are we struggling because customers don't know that we're showing up? Are we, you know, like whatever it is, are we struggling getting reviews? And then once you identify the issues, instead of trying to throw people at it, ask yourself, how can AI solve this first? Like that needs to be your first solution that you're looking for before you try to go and hire somebody or put it on somebody else's plate, because now you're just adding more and whatever else. And so if you can, and AI can help you solve that. You're like, hey, I have this problem. But what software, what AI agents out there exist? Like, you know, okay, I'm going to have my call agent be able to do this. I need to fix my tech stack with this, you know, and put that in. And I think if you operate in that process, you're going to be cutting edge enough. You know, you don't need to know how to vibe code, and you don't need to know how to run OpenClaw, although I do think you should. But like, if you can implement that process, I think you're going to be ahead of 95% of blue collar.
I want to ask you right now, Chris, I'm putting you on the spot. What is your budget, or what are you spending right now on AI yourself right now?
Personally, so just in subscriptions, I'm probably about $2,000 a month.
And how much do you think, like, how much value are you getting out of that?
Man, tons. And so now what can get crazy? So I'm gonna show.
It's true, because every day he shows off his Claude bot, which he's been building for OpenClaw. OpenClaw. Like, we'll come in and I'll be like, hey, Chris, good morning. And he'll be like, look at what Abby's doing. Look at all these screens.
She has a name.
Abby?
Her name's
Abby?
Abby.
Okay.
Abby
Yeah, sorry,
Johnson. If you ever get an email from Abby at gonextlevelpros.com.
So he'll tell me, so Abby texts his staff. And he's like, yo, Abby, give me a report on this. Like, I'm talking to Abby. And so I'm like, this is a robot. I'm not going to talk to Abby. So then Chris will be like, hey, respond to Abby. I'm like, the computer, Chris? Like,
she'll let me know. She'll be like, Trent's not answering the report.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll be like, and so I'll reach out to Trent and be like, why the freak? Why aren't you talking?
This is accountability and management on the people side, because he needs to be managed by people.
It is, but here's the thing. I'm like Ellen in the way we're like, I'm a little dissonant to like some robot that's gonna ask me for a report like while I'm on the toilet. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, no. I want Chris to call me.
Well,
you know?
I think this is really an exciting conversation. So you also have 365 unanswered texts. We saw your phone today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah.
And it's more
just
now.
delete them all, start over.
That's what
do not do that.
Why?
Respond to them if
now
you need to.
Now
If
it's
you
410.
If you didn't respond to him like 3 days ago,
I know.
you already blew it.
It's
Delete them all.
Yeah.
Is that where I would go?
That's a
I
total
agree.
yellow cop out.
Okay, so let's talk about this. We're gonna, if it's important, you'll hear.
Yeah,
they'll
right.
call back.
You'll call back.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wow.
Alan, I'm with you.
we are.
You guys all know
reflexible.
that.
I'm just saying. Okay, yesterday we took a set of financials and we dug it apart and we came up with easy ways, a couple levers to move, a pro forma. Here are a couple lines. If you move this, you could move to some pretty massive profitability. We didn't even talk about AI.
No.
We didn't even get there. As soon as we were done, we're like, oh, my opportunity missed. That we're like on the people in the office. Now, if you've got really great people in your office, what it also means is you could 10x the size of your company without adding people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? And robotics have done this for factories and automation. And now this is the next
You look at
step.
Any Hours call center or like Tommy's call center. So that's like, or Top Line call center. It's like lots and lots of people are doing it. It's like in a couple months, a couple years, you even need those people. But then what's going to happen to society, Ellen? Like, people are just going to not have jobs.
You guys,
what's going to
AI
happen?
is the latest industrial revolution for this world.
Yeah,
like it's the fifth, big revolutionary change that we're seeing in the economy. worldwide.
I go from being super excited about it, and then I'm also just like, I'm gonna go buy 40 acres and live underground. What is gonna happen to the world?
I mean, do we really want to answer that?
Yeah, Ellen,
I heard some of your thoughts yesterday.
We're gonna work for the
let
overlords.
me preface it with, we don't know.
I think it's going to be bad. I think we're going to work for the Skynet overlords, and just
We're giggling. We don't know.
no, because
We
think
don't
about
know.
it. This whole Abby Johnson
Okay, what
situation
can
is that.
happen is also fallout,
Yeah, fallout.
and then we start all over again.
Well, I mean, somebody could drop a nuclear bomb, and we just
See, that's another option.
You've
So
seen
we
a lot
don't
of
know.
Terminator movies, I think. I haven't.
I am
So
open
maybe
to
I'm in the dark.
possibility.
Yeah, I think that's for another podcast, another day. Because
I think
I'm
that's
gonna,
a heavy place to leave it. We don't want to do that.
here's the reality. 15, 20 years from now, the world will look completely different than it does right now.
Yes.
The question is the bridge. Who's going to dominate
On the way up.
bridge? On the way up. And we can theorize and hypothesize about everything's going to look like 15 to 20 years. We just got to make sure that we're on the cutting edge. That's it, right?
I agree with that. And the other thing is, we were talking today. We thought there'd be more flying around in 1984 than there is now. Weren't we all going to be on hovercrafts? Isn't the future different from where
Dang
we
FFA.
predicted that? Is that
Yeah.
it?
They
The
literally
FAA.
have the technology to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You go over to Dubai. They literally have hovercraft taxis that are flying from top of buildings to top of buildings. That launched this year, and that actually
Okay,
exists.
it's about time we had more
Right.
flying.
But-
the point is, we couldn't accurately predict what the future would look like, and we still can't.
Right.
But to live in the moment and to be able to explore where we are is better than just calling it all bad and deciding you're going to ignore it.
We need to stay ahead of the curve just a little bit. We don't need to be way ahead of the curve. But
He can
get
be
a little
way
bit
ahead of the curve. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
and
I'll
some
be
of
the
us are going to be
trailblazer,
keeping
baby.
up.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to the 90s, rollerblading and pieces of paper. That was
I'm a forward, always forward. girl. I'm not going
the
back
problem
to
with that
anything.
way of thinking, the blue wave the tsunami that comes will just wipe you out.
Yeah.
And-
I
and-
believe
and
that.
We all want that. We all want to go back to the 90s
Yeah.
when life was simple
Yeah.
and we're passing
I
notes
don't
in
know who you're
class.
talking
Like,
about. I'm a forward, always.
To be
Going
clear, hold
back
on.
is off as no.
This AI stuff is going to improve lives like crazy for the average person.
Yes.
100%. All of this technology
I agree.
is a good thing, but we got to make sure that we know how to adapt.
my neighbor.
Okay, here's one more
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
You guys are solar guys
Mm-hmm.
because one of the big questions about powering AI
Mm-hmm.
and the next phase of how we're going to run the world comes down to energy.
Yep.
So you know about solar. Talk to us about that.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta. We know that the sun has enough energy to be able to power the whole world and everything that we ever need. So, again, I'm trying to stay out of 15 to 20 years from now, but really 15 to 20 years from now, the question is going to be the management of resources, and that's
Here.
and if you look at any major political plays that have happened in the last 5 or 10 years, it's all about the ability to manufacture and control resources, nothing else.
Well, there's going to be another
Yeah, that's
resource
right.
that comes into play, and this is from being a plumber's wife, and it's water. So water will also be a part, like the
Clean
basic
water.
resources.
Clean water.
Yeah, water. Like
Water,
to
right.
We
live.
do have the ability to desalinate, so
And it's complicated
yes.
and wasteful.
and expensive.
Yeah, so there's this is also
But what's the definition of expense?
It's expensive because energy is expensive and it's going to get cheaper, I believe, as well.
could be, and there's also a lot of opportunity for ingenuity and creativity and genius. So there's some exciting stuff ahead.
Trent, you were going to say something a minute ago.
Yeah,
Do
and
you
I
remember?
cut you off
That's
like
okay.
I have been for 2 days.
I don't even remember. I'm both inspired by this technological revolution and also
Overwhelmed.
ready to move in a bunker.
just ready to move in a bunker. I'm excited for entrepreneurs because it's like what used to take a whole team of people takes a $200 computer and a subscription. And I'm also just overwhelmed by the Skynet overlords that I know are lurking.
You know, for me though, it's just like
I
when
know I'm laughing.
we were talking on the
response.
podcast yesterday about our financials.
Yeah.
It's not about getting to 20% EBITDA today. It's about going from 7 to 9% this year,
right.
or 9 to 11 this year.
It's on the way up.
Take the steps right now. Work on getting some AI-centric education and investment, as you were saying earlier, Chris. If we focus on just baby steps, keep working towards that, and then you're going to make progress. Don't worry too much about what's coming, because we're going to be a part of that if we are on the cutting edge as well.
Here's one interesting thing. There are some things that are never going to change. You know what one of them is? The balance sheet equation.
I thought you were going to say taxes, but great.
No, the balance sheet equation
was
codified. He didn't like discover it. He codified. Like, here's what I got, and here's how I got it. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. And it hasn't changed one jot since the 1400s. And it works in any business, any country, any dollar, and has not changed. So there will be some things to hang on to in the days ahead.
For sure.
I mean, the basics will always control everything, right? Like, and again, it's important to understand the basics to be able to build, right? Like an architect doesn't just start designing buildings. He understands how the different geometries work together and everything else.
Right.
And you know what else will never change? Your overall obsession with the human connection.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that for a minute. So is the answer to go into a bunker and hide? I don't believe so. I think the answer is the exact opposite. We are going to need to rely upon our people and our networks more than ever before in the future. So get to know people, be friendly, be kind, love people.
Yes.
For the purpose of, we all have bunkers and we all rely on each other. Listen, Lincoln.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But it's still.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it's
I'm
about.
not anti-people.
I know you're not anti-people. But the point is don't go into your hole and be away from people. Like, get to know people, because the human connection, I think, is going to be even more important in the future than it is today.
Yeah.
And that's how we associate with our customers, how we associate with employees. You'll have a lot fewer of them, but you'll still have employees that they're going to be more valuable, because they're going to be so much more productive, because they're going to have Abby doing half the work for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. As you remove more and more human connection, it becomes more and more valuable. Right.
And maybe the barrier to entry for entrepreneurs will be so much lower, because it will be so much easier. So like when Alibaba came out and anybody could just go, when I manufactured products, I had to go to China.
Yeah.
Now I could just go to Alibaba, manufacture whatever I want, slap a brand on it. There's such little barrier to entry. And so there's so much more products.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that.
And channeling your buddy, Daryl, we could embrace the unknown.
Yeah. Daryl's good at that. Yeah. Dude, he could stare into the heart of infinity and just say like,
Yeah.
Love.
So key takeaways, Chris. I really like what you're doing. I want to follow your example. Let's make sure that we are investing into our education with AI. Have some of these agents and so forth doing work for us. As we do, we tend to learn, right? What else would you say?
I mean, I would just say that you gotta stay on the cutting edge, and kind of wrapping this to the way that we started, where previously value could be created through leverage of humans. Value is now being created through leverage of understanding exactly how to use AI. The fact that people are literally receiving $1 billion signing bonuses. I mean, most guys in our industry would work their whole lives to get $1 billion exit. This guy had a $1 billion personal
in like 5 weeks or whatever.
Yes, I mean, literally in a matter of weeks, because now obviously there was a lot that led up to that of what he invested
Training,
into his education and whatnot. I think we're in a day and age where we kind of dismiss education. It's like, oh, I got everything at my fingertips with this phone, and I can ask it and give me any information. And I think we're moving beyond that. Is to like, how do I use all of this information and really understand? And that is where the real value is.
I love that point, that you still have to learn, you still have to study, you might have to read. You know, there are elements.
And it's hard as you get older. Like I have spent, as Trent pointed out, I've spent the last few weeks learning stuff that I'm uncomfortable learning. And I have not had to feel like I've had to educate myself this way in a long time. And so it's getting out of that comfort zone, being willing to put in that kind of just ground level work of like being a college student almost again and whatnot. And I've always had the philosophy, if I'm willing to do what other people aren't, like I'm going to come out successful.
You will, yeah.
And this is, I think, one of those things where you just got to be willing to give a little bit more than anybody else.
This is either going to make people like the smartest moron, right? Like you're the smartest moron because you got the information in your pocket, or it's going to make you a really, really good operator and a force in the world.
You know, I love the free market because the free market, again, I say this time and time again, every single day, millions of us vote with our wallets. If the value is there, we will buy it. If the value is not there, we will not buy. We'll go somewhere else. And we've got to make sure that we are willing to do that ourselves. The free market has actually destroyed millions of companies over the years. Blockbuster was one that was mentioned earlier. Let's not let that be our company. Let's be on the cutting edge and be one of those companies that is creating destruction for other companies, so to speak. The free market is amazing. We have seen our standard of living increase so much over the last 250 years. We live better than kings of old by a long shot.
Amen.
By a long shot. But we need to do our part to stay ahead of this, guys.
Well, and
Amen.
at the risk of being called an anti-capitalist, which I am not.
We know you're not. We know you're not. Just maybe some of you associate.
I also don't trust that the free market or every business will do the right thing.
No, you need UBI. Is that what you're talking about?
This is where they're UBI.
Universal basic income.
You don't want UBI?
Wow, we're not going to go down this.
No, we're not going down.
Link.
this.
Yeah.
We're not going
Let
down
me
this.
finish my thought. So, like, as wealth exposes the character of a person, so would use of technology. So that's the call out to individuals. So I wouldn't trust the free market to do the right thing for everyone, but within my hula hoop, and within each of our hula hoops, are decisions to be made that would be choices that would be hopefully of service to humanity, and that we still have that power. So it's kind of like wealth is energy. So how are you going to use the energy?
Yeah, and to be clear, free markets are only able to be done if you have laws of the land that people have to obey and so on and so forth, for sure.
Some guardrails.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see that here too. But there is also a grand opportunity that if you're one of the good guys, right, that you could do really good things.
If you take care of people. It's all about taking care of people.
Well, guys, appreciate the conversation. It was absolutely incredible. Thanks for joining us.